What was the deciding factor that really changed the way the business operated and moved it forward? Was it a marketing play? Was it a branding play? Or was it just the type of products you carried? What was kind of that trigger that made you a successful, viable business?
I think all the above. I mean, for us, the core pillar of our business is to be an aspirational brand experience that sells previously premium products for less, combined with an authentic social mission that also provides educational content that informs and inspires people about why it matters. And for us, we see access as a function of price, geography, and education. Price in that we're, for the first time in history, selling previously premium products at the same price as conventional equivalents shipped to people's homes wherever they are in the country for free. Geography in that we ship to people wherever they are, if they're in a food desert or they're in the middle of nowhere. And education in that we provide content that informs and inspires people. So we're not just an e-commerce utility. We are a lifestyle brand. We are an ecosystem. We are a community. We've spent millions of dollars on our own content, whether that's magazines, video courses. This is like a core part of our thesis is that we're not just an e-commerce utility. We are a lifestyle brand. We're a community of folks that want to do good for themselves. They want to do good for their families, but they also want to do good for the world. And I think the way that we've been able to blend those messages together, the resonance of our brand, the way that we were able to bring in lots of influencers as investors, and then more important, probably most importantly, is we're in a huge market and we're able to deliver really differentiated value to people at a time where they can't get these options elsewhere.
What was the most effective marketing strategy you've used to date to gain customers? Was it the influencer marketing, or was there a more of a social play such as Facebook, Instagram, or was there something else?
Actually, I really think those are important, strategic, and tactical uh, kind of influences on us, and we benefited from. But I think the core of it, though, really comes down to the mission of the business, and that's something that's really resonant. There's product market fit for an aspirational, socially conscious brand that's very mainstream, but has a real positive outlook and values in the market, and that's something we've seen the way that has impacted our just as being a stakeholder driven business, our relationships with our brand partners, our relationships with our influencer investors, our relationships with our investors at large, our relationships with press, and most importantly, our relationships with our employees and our members. The fact that we're authentically committed to really solving this problem. We're about to go zero waste in our distribution centers. Like no waste will go from our DCs into a landfill over the next 3 months. These are like the types of things that we do, that we invest in, that are hard to do, that take a lot of thoughtfulness and care. And then we create stories and content that educate our community about this and educate press about this. And it creates all sorts of virtuous cycles that you just can't quantify. So there isn't one thing, but it's a combination of things that's anchored in a real authentic desire to really solve this problem at scale.
Can you speak as to if someone was going to come to you and ask you for what should they know about being in the e-commerce space because they wanted to start a business in e-commerce? What would be some pieces of advice or some learnings that you could share with them to save them quite some time in terms of their journey?
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, so we brought on a third co-founder who's a technical co-founder and CTO. So his name's Sasha. He's a total badass. My first co-founder Nick and I, we're technically adept, but we're not engineers. So I think if you're doing something with technology, it's really really important that you've got great leadership there. It doesn't need to be that it's a technical co-founder or a CTO, but that was really valuable for us in terms of our success factors. I think, just taking a step back, it doesn't matter if you're in e-commerce or not. It's all about the team, and for us, I think one of the advantages, dual disadvantage advantage, that Nick and I didn't have e-commerce experience. And so because of that, we were forced to hire much more talented people in the areas that we didn't have experience, and we had to get out of their way. And that was, that's the essence of any successful organization, having great people and great operational executional oriented efficiency. And I think, it doesn't matter if it's e-commerce, doesn't matter if it's a nonprofit, doesn't matter if it's a consumer brand. Having great people, having a culture of leadership, having a way for bringing in A players, retaining A players, and nurturing A players. That's the number one success factor.
So bringing in a quality team that understands the business or that understands at least the dynamics of the operations of the business was a big part of your success. Was there any downfall as a result of not being as knowledgeable as people on your team in terms of that department?
I don't think so. I mean, again, I'm sure there's been small instances and edge cases where it was a problematic issue, but at this point, I mean, look, I used to be a terrible micromanager in my early businesses. So, this has been an amazing growing opportunity for me as an entrepreneur in finding great people, getting out of their way, and letting go of control. I think at the end of the day, really, really smart people, they're only going to stick around if they feel like they've got authorship in what they do and they feel like they've got a real ability to affect the outcome. If I'm constantly reaching down and meddling in the affairs or changing the plans or doing things that are not part of a larger strategic plan that people understand and are enrolled in, then it's just not going to be an effective leadership culture, which percolates from the top down and the bottom up. So I think that's for us, we've look, there's a little bit of like emotional maturity that has to come with that, which is the end of the day, we've hired much more intelligent people in the fields that they're specialists in than we are, and we've a lot of times we defer to them, and we get out of their way. Now that said, we're the keepers of the vision. So where there's really strategic decisions that either are accretive or threatening to our overall goal or strategic priorities, of course we're going to have a very active hand in shaping those things. But it's our job as co-founders and senior leadership to make sure that our leadership and the team and all the way down in the company understands what they're doing and why they're doing it.
And so, what is it going to take Tribe Markets from, the $100+ million in businesses doing all the way up to $1 billion?
Yeah, I think it's really what we've already been investing in. It's really obsessing about our members. It's improving our logistics. It's expanding on our value proposition. Our members make back their entire membership fee on their second purchase. The average American family spends thousands of dollars a year on groceries. So being able to save 25 to 50% off your highest quality favorite organic brands delivered to your home, it's just a very strong value proposition. And for us, it's not a binary result. It's not like one player is going to take the whole market. We don't believe that. We think this is a massive secular trend. We've always assumed that there were going to be a handful of multi-billion-dollar players doing some version of what we're doing today. Our track has been all along, we want to be known as the authentic choice. We want to be seen as the trusted, authentic choice, and we can build a massive multi-billion-dollar business just by continuing to do that and doubling down on the investments we're already making.